Okay mate, shit or bust, let's do it. So we was on the ship now, couldn't believe it. So we walked up aft and there was all loading. We thought, oh no, it's too dodgy. What about the lifeboats? Too high up, too dodgy. So we went down onto the lower deck and we found this hatch open. So John had the brilliant idea of, there was a rope hanging over it, climbed down this rope. Anyway, we were down there for a while and there was rats, everything down there, it was unbelievable. So we decided that a couple of things happened while we were down there. We nearly burnt the ship down because John lit a fag, and as he lit this fag, the bale caught alight. So we shook this can and he put it out, and as he shook the can, all the rest of the food fell down this hole, so now we've got no food. After about 10 hours we decided that we've got to give ourselves in. So we gave ourselves in. It took hours, we were rattling, and hours later this bloke come and let us out, asked us what we were doing down there. Then we were taken to the captain and he wasn't a bit displeased. And so we were to spend the next 2 days on the ship before it got to New Zealand. On arriving in New Zealand, the police came on board, handcuffed us, took us to the cells, locked us up, and the following morning we were to appear in court. So it was decided that I would be deported from New Zealand on the ship called the Afric. And I signed on there as a deck boy at £29 a week. And all charges were dropped on me, stowing away, when we sailed, which we did 2 weeks later. It took us, the journey home was 7 weeks, and during that time we had a lot of interesting things happen. I was nearly eaten by a shark, and let's see, we were chased by 100 locals in a port carrying knives. Just a few different things happened, but to find out all these you've got to read the book. We arrived back in England. We docked in Avonmouth in Bristol. So decided that I was going to go home in style. We all got a train to the City of London. I got the train from Victoria down, and decided that I was going to come home the same way as my stepfather did back in 1965. So I rang up an old friend of ours who had a taxi business, also had a Rolls Royce. So I said, how much is a Rolls Royce? And he turned around and he said, oh, that'd be £4. Well, I'd been paid off with £29, I was loaded. Back in 1966, £29 was a lot of dough for a kid of my age. Mm. So he rolled up in the roller and took the short journey, arrived outside number 36, he tooted the horn. It's a council estate, everybody's nosy, aren't they? You think somebody was look out, well, who said, what's going on? Nobody did. After about 10 minutes, he said, well, I've got to go now, Tone, so I paid him off. When I knocked at the front door, my mother came to the front door, she said, oh, you're home, are you? So, I don't know where you're going to sleep, I've sold your bed. This is where I left for Australia in 1965. And this is where I came back to at the end of 1965. Right across the road there, outside that house where that lamppost is, that's where the Rolls Royce pulled up and tooted, and you look around and you can't imagine anybody not looking out the windows, but nobody did. 3 days before Christmas I was out on the streets, and I was a bit older and a bit wiser then, so I went to when I bought the Argus, the same Argus that had this story in there, and looked for digs, and I found digs in a room in Kemp Town in Brighton. And Christmas was a bit of a lonely time for me, and I can remember I was off work for 10 days because they closed down. And I'll always remember New Year's Eve 1965. I left the flat and I was walking on the seafront, and I was looking out just past the pier on Brighton Beach, and this bloke come past me, streamers, blowing this trumpet, and Happy Christmas, mate. Oh, Happy New Year, mate. I said, Happy New Year? Here I am, I'm stuck all on my own sort of thing, after everything I've been through in the last year. And I just looked out to sea and saw this ship on the horizon and thought, if only I could be there. Come full circle. After 30,000 miles and I knew I'd made a mistake. It's been an interesting life. We've travelled, we've done a lot of things. Made it, spent it. But no regrets.
Yeah.